Madame de Pompadour, born Jeanne-Antoinette Poisson on December 29, 1721, was one of the most influential women in 18th-century France. She rose from bourgeois origins to become the official mistress and confidant of King Louis XIV, earning a place at the heart of the French court. Her life story is a fascinating account of personal ambition, strategic alliances, and artistic patronage, marked by her enduring influence on French politics and culture. Jeanne-Antoinette was born into a relatively modest but well-connected family. Her father, François Poisson, was a financier, but after being implicated in financial scandals, he fled the country when Jeanne was only 4 years old. Her mother, Madeleine de la Motte, took control of her upbringing. Jeanne's maternal benefactor, Charles-François Paul Lenormand de Tournam, a wealthy financier who was rumored to be her biological father, provided financial support and oversaw her education. Recognizing Jeanne's beauty and intelligence, her mother aimed to prepare her for an advantageous match, or possibly even a life at court. Jeanne's education was exceptional for a girl of her status. She studied under some of the best tutors of the time, learning to sing, dance, and play music, alongside subjects like history, literature, and philosophy. Her education was geared toward refining her social graces and intellectual abilities, qualities that would serve her well in her future role. Early marriage and entry into court. At the age of 19, Jeanne married Charles-Guillaume Lenormand de Tilleuil, the nephew of her benefactor. The marriage was a strategic union designed to secure her future, and it granted her access to the upper echelons of Parisian society. She bore him a son who died young, and a daughter named Alexandrine, whose death in childhood was a source of great sorrow for Jeanne. Despite her bourgeois origins, Jeanne quickly rose in social circles, gaining a reputation for her wit, charm, and beauty. She became a notable figure in the Parisian salons, where she mingled with intellectuals, philosophers, and aristocrats. Her ambition, however, was to ascend even higher. Through carefully cultivated connections, Jeanne was introduced to King Louis XIV in 1745. The king, who was in his mid-30s and dissatisfied in his marriage to Marie Leszczyńska, found in Jeanne a captivating companion. Their relationship quickly became intimate, and by September 1745, Jeanne had officially become the maîtresse en titre, chief mistress of the king. To cement her position at court, she was given the title Marquise de Pompadour and a residence at Versailles. Role at Versailles and influence over Louis XIV. Madame de Pompadour's relationship with Louis XIV was based not only on physical attraction, but also on shared intellectual and cultural interests. While she remained the king's mistress for several years, their romantic relationship eventually evolved into a deep friendship. Even after their physical affair ended, Madame de Pompadour retained her influence over the king, becoming one of his closest confidants and advisors. Her position at court was unprecedented for someone of her background, and she faced considerable opposition from factions within the aristocracy and even the royal family. Despite this, she managed to maintain her status by cultivating alliances, managing court politics with skill, and demonstrating her value to the king. One of Madame de Pompadour's most significant contributions was her influence over French art and culture. She was a passionate patron of the arts, commissioning and supporting artists, architects, and craftsmen. She played a crucial role in promoting the Rococo style, which became synonymous with the French court during this period. She commissioned works from renowned artists such as François Boucher, Jean-Marc Nattier, and Maurice Quentin de la Tour, and she supported the porcelain manufactory at Sèvres, which became famous for its exquisite designs. Madame de Pompadour was also a patron of the theater, literature, and philosophy. She befriended and corresponded with leading intellectuals of the Enlightenment, including Voltaire, whom she helped secure a position at court. Her support for the Encyclopédiste and the Encyclopédie Project, an ambitious collection of knowledge spearheaded by Denis Diderot and Jean-Laurent d'Alembert, showed her progressive intellectual leanings, despite the political conservatism of the monarchy. Political influence. Madame de Pompadour's political influence was equally significant. Though she was often blamed for some of the failures of Louis XV's reign, her involvement in politics was complex. She was consulted on many matters of state, including foreign affairs, military strategy, and court appointments. Her critics accused her of meddling in affairs beyond her expertise, but her defenders argued that she provided much-needed counsel to a king often criticized for indecision and passivity. One of her most controversial interventions was her involvement in the 7 Years' War, 1756 to 1763, which saw France suffer several military defeats. The war significantly weakened France's standing in Europe and contributed to the country's financial instability. Many contemporaries held Madame de Pompadour responsible for the war's mismanagement, although the situation was far more complex, with systemic issues in France's military and governmental infrastructure. Despite these criticisms, she was a skilled diplomat and negotiator. She played a key role in strengthening the alliance between France and Austria, brokered through the legacy and death. Madame de Pompa's legacy is multifaceted. While she was often vilified by contemporaries, particularly by factions within the court that resented her influence, she was also admired for her intelligence, charm, and artistic sensibilities. Her impact on French culture was profound, and she is credited with shaping the artistic and intellectual landscape of 18th-century France. The Pompadour pink shade, a soft pink associated with porcelain and textiles, was named after her, symbolizing her lasting influence on the aesthetic tastes of her time. Her personal life, however, was marked by sadness and ill health. Madame de Pompadour suffered from frequent ailments, including tuberculosis, which plagued her in her later years. The death of her daughter, at Alexandrine, in 1754, was a personal tragedy from which she never fully recovered. Despite these hardships, she remained at court until her death in 1764 at the age of 42. Her passing was a significant blow to Louis XV, who reportedly mourned her deeply. Madame de Pompadour was buried at the Couvent des Capucines in Paris, her final resting place reflecting the pious nature she cultivated toward the end of her life. Conclusion: Madame de Pompadour's rise from bourgeois obscurity to one of the most powerful women in France is a testament to her intelligence, charm, and political savvy. Her role as Louis XV's mistress was only one aspect of her influence. She shaped French culture, diplomacy, and politics in profound ways. Though often blamed for the failures of Louis XV's reign, she was also a key figure in promoting the Enlightenment and supporting the arts. Her legacy endures as a symbol of the complexities of power, influence, and patronage in the French royal court. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe our channel